What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see we actually got 17 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get 17 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon, which should be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here is one of our members who just signed up and won himself $6,000 just yesterday. Another member who won $29 for the 4th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description. So go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group. And I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. Alright, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So first pick we're going to be talking about is Trae Young for 27.5 points, and this one actually is for less. Now look at Trae Young. We've actually seen him go in the under in 3 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Detroit Pistons. Now we look at the Detroit Pistons. We have seen them do pretty well this season, and they do rank 16th when it comes to points allowed. So pretty mid-tier in those categories. However, the reason why we do like the under for someone like Trae Young in this situation is that Detroit actually rank very high when it comes to restricting points to the guard position, which is what Trae Young is, and we definitely see him going on the under there. When we look at Trae Young as well over his average over the last 5, yes, it is 28.6, but there was an outlier game where he did have 43 points against Phoenix, and we think due to that outlier game, it brought this line a little bit too high, that now there's a lot more value to go on the under here. When we look at someone like Trae Young as well, what we also do see is that his average not only is, just sneakily higher, but even if we look at his last 5 games, he's only gone on the over twice. He's gone more on the under lately, and even some of the times he's gone on the over, he's only made it over by 0.5. So definitely not convincing enough to us, and that's a big reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here. Detroit Pistons as well are a pretty slow-paced team, and we tend to actually see them slow down a lot of faster-paced teams, for example Atlanta. So we are expecting Trae Young to get a bit of less volume than we usually see from him, which should lead to the under for this situation here. So Trae Young 27.5 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about none other than Domantas Sabonis. So Domantas Sabonis, great player, and this one is for 15.5 rebounds, and this one also is for less. Now look at Sabonis. We've actually seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Golden State Warriors. Now as you all know, when we look at the Golden State Warriors, we do see that the Warriors do actually rank 24th when it comes to rebounds allowed. However, the reason why we do like the under for this situation here is due to the fact that when it comes to Sabonis, we actually see him play center a lot, and Golden State Warriors actually do a really good job at restricting rebounds to the center position. So we definitely see him going on the under in this situation per position basis. On top of that, Domantas Sabonis did have another outlier game against Boston where he had 28 rebounds. Great game for him, but it has brought this line a little bit too high, that now there's a lot more value actually to go on the under, because even besides that game, a lot of the other games he's gone on the under, and even the most recent one, it wasn't really convincing enough to us to be able to say he gets consistently close to this line. Now his average over the last 5 is 17, so slightly above this line, but I think that Boston game has pushed this, outlier game has pushed it a little bit too high when it comes to averages. But when we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have him favored for the under as well, so that works out in our favor there. Now when we come to also to see Sabonis as well, he hasn't really had that great of usage rate out there in the rebounding department over the last 4 games besides that Boston one, so we think that is going to be taken into consideration coming into this next one. So when we look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have in favor for the under as well. So Domantas Sabonis 15.5 rebounds for less, I think is a great pick. Now getting to the next one, we're going to be talking about LaMelo Ball. So, as you all know, LaMelo Ball, great player, has been absolutely balling out and doing great on the All-Star votes. And this one is actually for 4.5 3 points made, and this one actually is for less. Now look at LaMelo Ball. We've actually seen him go in the under in 2 out of the last 5 games, and they do face off against none other than the Memphis Grizzlies. Now look at the Memphis Grizzlies. We do actually see, when it comes to 3 points made allowed, we do see that the Memphis Grizzlies do actually rank 19th, and then when it comes to 3-point attempts allowed, we see that the Memphis Grizzlies also do rank pretty similar, as they rank 27th. Now, they rank pretty low. However, Memphis Grizzlies actually do a really good job at 3-point attempts allowed and 3-point made allowed when it comes to the guard position, specifically the point guard position, which is what LaMelo Ball is. So, for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here. LaMelo Ball, although he has gone on the over sometimes, we've actually seen he's only made it over by 0.5, so not really convincing enough to us. His average over the last 5 is 3.6, so significantly under this line, and that's another tall tale sign to us that we do like the under for this situation here. Now when we look at both teams, Memphis are a little bit slower pace than Charlotte, so we are expecting Charlotte actually to come down to Memphis's pace, which should lead to less volume as well for LaMelo Ball. So when we look at what the bookies are saying as well, bookies also have him favored for the under, so that works out in our favor. So LaMelo Ball 4.5, 3 points made for less, I think is a great pick. All right, so as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but Prizepicks is delayed with some of their lines, so here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Julius Randle. So as you all know, Julius Randle has moved to his new team, Minnesota Timberwolves, and he's been doing a decent job, averaging 18.9 points, 7.3 rebounds, 4.5 assists, while also shooting 47.2% from the field. So he's done a fantastic job for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Minnesota Timberwolves do have themselves a great matchup against the Dallas Mavericks. Now, as you all know, when we look at the Dallas Mavericks, we do see very interesting points, rebounds, and assists allowed. So starting off with points, we see that the Dallas Mavericks do actually rank, when it comes to points allowed, they rank 12th. Now moving on into assists allowed, we see that the Dallas Mavericks do rank a little bit worse, as they rank 15th, and then rebounds allowed, we also see that the Dallas Mavericks rank 19th. So they're very mid-tier in all 3 categories, and for that reason, we definitely see someone like Julius Randle being able to take advantage of this and going on the over here. Julius Randle is a great player. He does have a decent usage rate in all 3 departments, and we definitely see that being a big thing coming into this matchup. When we look at the matchup as well, Mavericks also do a really poor job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the power forward position. So we definitely see someone like Julius Randle being able to take advantage of this and going on the over here. Now, if there was one to focus on, I wouldn't really focus on either one. I think all 3 have the capability for someone like Julius Randle to be able to go on the over. So keep an eye out for all 3 of his lines. But like I always mentioned, keep an eye out for the line first. If it is under his averages, definitely look to go on the over. So I definitely see a lot of value there. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Nick Claxton from the Brooklyn Nets. So, when we look at Nick Claxton, you actually see him averaging 9.7 points, 7.4 rebounds, and 2 assists, and he also is shooting 54.5% from the field. Now, when it comes to the Brooklyn Nets, they do have themselves a great matchup against none other than the Phoenix Suns. So, Phoenix Suns haven't really had the greatest season so far. They do rank very low in the Western Conference, and the Suns do rank 20th when it comes to points allowed. Now moving on into assists allowed, we see that the Suns rank 18th, and then rebounds allowed, we also do see that the Suns rank 21st. So for that reason, we do very much like the over for this situation for someone like Nick Claxton. Now when we look at Claxton, now he doesn't have the highest usage rate in points and assists, so I would definitely focus a lot more on rebounds, as that is what his main purpose and his production and usage rate is out there for this Brooklyn Nets team. So he does provide a lot of rebounds. Now he is a great rebounder, and he had some big games over the last 5. He's had 2 games where he had 12 rebounds, another game where he had 8 rebounds as well, which is above his averages. So when it is against easier teams, he does a great job against that. So we definitely see someone like Claxton being able to go on the over, especially against this Suns team. Now when we look at Suns, they are a pretty fast-paced team. Brooklyn Nets are pretty fast as well, so we are expecting a good amount of volume from both of these teams in that aspect. So since there is going to be a lot more volume, there should be a lot more volume for someone like Nick Claxton to grab those boards, especially when it comes to opportunities off missed shots. So I definitely would keep an eye out for Claxton's line. I would definitely focus a lot more on rebounds due to the fact that he does have a higher usage rate in that department compared to points and assists. So rebounds is definitely one you want to look out for, especially for someone like Claxton. Keep an eye out for the line, and like I always mentioned, if it is under his averages, definitely look to go in the over, as I see a lot of great value there. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about none other than De'Aaron Fox. So, De'Aaron Fox, as we all know, fantastic player from the Sacramento Kings. And the Sacramento Kings have been doing pretty well ever since their recent change in head coach. However, De'Aaron Fox himself has been averaging 25.9 points, 5.2 rebounds, 6.3 assists, while also shooting 47.9% from the field. So, he's done a great job for Sacramento Kings. And Sacramento Kings do face off against the Golden State Warriors. Now, when we look at the Golden State Warriors, they haven't been playing too well as well. They do have a record of 21-21. Kings, on the other hand, have a record of 22-20. So very, very similar. Now, looking at the Golden State Warriors, we see that they rank 8th when it comes to points allowed, which is interesting to see. On top of that, moving on to assists allowed, we actually see that they do rank 16th. And then they also rank 24th when it comes to rebounds allowed. So when it comes to De'Aaron Fox, we do very much like the over for this situation here. But I would definitely focus a lot more on rebounds and assists. Now, Golden State Warriors do a really good job at restricting points to the guard position as well. So that's why we would definitely stay away from points when it comes to those lines. But rebounds and assists, we see a lot of value there. Now, De'Aaron Fox does have a higher usage rate in the assist department, so that is definitely one to keep an eye out for. But with the way things have been going, I think De'Aaron Fox does have the capability to definitely go over in the rebounds and assists category, especially against this Warriors team. Now, both Warriors and Kings are pretty fast-paced teams, so we are expecting a lot of pace from this game. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for the over for this situation, especially due to the pace being a lot more than we usually see from De'Aaron Fox.